Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and the highest honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Archakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, and shalom to the hopeful elect of the Hebrew Israelites. Okay, this is the brother Arakia, and it's going to be just a quick lesson because I was reading the first book of Maccabees, chapter 2, and verse 10. Okay, and let me I'm gonna start from verse 1 to get all of the context, man. Okay, and this inspired me to make a lesson because I had made a note to the Bible of another scripture that links up with the verse 10, okay, of this chapter right here. So I'm gonna read at least these two different scriptures, and then whatever else comes through the Spirit is then going to be brought out, man, through the Spirit. Okay, so without further ado, First Maccabees 2 and 1. In those days arose Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simeon, a priest of the sons of Joarib from Jerusalem, and dwelt in Modin. Okay, and these were Levites. Okay, because it says a priest, and he had 5 sons: Johanan, called Cadiz, Simon, called Tassai, Judas, who was called Maccabeus, Eleazar, called Avaran, and Jonathan, whose surname was Aphus, okay, or Aphus. And when he saw the blasphemies that were committed in Judah and Jerusalem, okay, that were done, in our land, man, okay, and to our people, because at this point, you still had the southern kingdom and sprinkling of the northern kingdom in our land, because right now in the land you have these impostors known as the small hats, okay, who are not really the people. Okay, but verse 6, and when he saw the blasphemies that were committed in Judah and Jerusalem, he said, Woe is me, wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people and of the holy city, and to dwell there, when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, and the sanctuary into the hand of strangers. Because when Antiochus Epiphanes IV, when he was doing his thing, he went all out, man. In the time of Passover, he was sacrificing, commanding, unclean animals to be sacrificed, and all kinds of madness, okay, for people to be uncircumcised, okay. Let's say you are circumcised, so then you make yourself uncircumcised, okay, which is fucking madness, okay. Polluted our temple, So a very dark, wicked spirit, man, of wanting to put uncleanness to our people, man. Okay, this is the devil at work. Okay, I was watching the video of Elder Manata Sakba when I was reading Revelation 2 and 10 to these 2 white girls. Okay, and they that's a hilarious video, because he was saying who owns all of the prisons, and the so-called white girls, Edomites, they knew the answer, but they were pretending like, yeah, I don't know, well, I don't know, well, who might it be, and maybe it's the aliens, okay, who are well, I don't know. And then when Elder Manata Sakba said, yeah, the white man, they were like, oh wow, what? And then after that they were like, one of them was, oh, my mom's calling, we have to go. But I looked it a couple of times back, and it seemed fake. It seemed that nobody called her, because she just took her phone to her hand and said, oh, my mom is calling, and then started to speak, but it seemed that she didn't even have the time to actually accept the phone call, okay, or answer the phone. She just, watched the phone, then put it to his ear and said, "Oh, my mom called." So it just seemed, fake. It seemed fake all around, man. And that reaction of that woman, because she didn't want to, handle the truth of who is the devil, okay, which are the Edomites, man. Okay, verse 8. Her temple is become as a man without glory. Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain into the streets. In the streets, her young men with the sword of the enemy. So you see, we really got destroyed by this heathen, man. Okay, now here's the point that made me look at the other scripture and through the Spirit come up with this lesson. Okay, 1 Maccabees 2:10. What nation has not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? Okay, now there's another scripture in Daniel where it says, there's no other nation than, just paraphrasing, there's no other nation than Israel under the whole heaven which has gone through so much afflictions. Okay, but in this scripture right here it says, it says that there are no nations that has not been taking part of the affliction of our people and of our kingdom. You see? So this is where Psalms chapter 83 comes in, where it lists all of our enemy nations, which are all of the other nations outside of Israel. Okay? And this is why you're going to see in the kingdom of Israel, the tables are going to be turned. Okay? But the other scripture that I had in mind is Jeremiah 30:16. Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries. Now we know who it is. We just read in 1 Maccabees 2:10 that all the nations, they are all our adversaries, and that they all devoured us, all the other nations, you see. So they shall be devoured. Every one of them shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. So, you see, 1 Maccabees 2:10, what nation has not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? So, all the nations spoiled us, therefore, all the nations are going to be spoiled. Let's read it again, man. Jeremiah 30:16, therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. So here you can see very clearly that all of the nations, they're going to go into slavery in the kingdom, man. Because what goes around comes around. You see? So it is it for the lesson, just linking up these two scriptures, 1 Maccabees 2:10 and Jeremiah 30:16. Lord willing, you was edified. Unto the next one, Shalom.